Hey guys, so today we're going to be learning about function notation, and it's going to, when I first start talking about this, you're going to be, this is weird. And it will feel a bit weird, but the good thing is you've done it all. You've done it all. Everything we're going to do, you've done before. It's just going to look a little bit differently. We're going to give it new names and new terms and new symbols. And so, but it's really the same thing. There'll be one thing that you have to get straight in your head for this unit or this lesson, and the rest will be a piece of cake. Now, just to quickly go over, we've been talking about X's and Y's, and Y always depending on X. As X changes, then Y will change. Then we called it the domain and the range, and we said X is the domain and Y is the range. And so as the domain changes, so does the Y, and the range depends on the domain. So now we're going to be calling it something else, and it's more, we're going to see it, and it's going to look a little bit differently. But you just have to remember what's X, what's Y, and or what's the domain, what's the range. If you get those two straight, you'll be okay with it. Okay, so let's move forward. Function notation is a way a function can be written. So you can see it as f of x, or you might see it as y equals f of x. Now you can see a function notation and you can see the equation. They look the same. The only thing that's different is that instead of saying y, they're saying f of x. Okay, so just so you know, it's the same thing. We read it as f of x, or you could say the function of x, or the function whose input is x. So again, as we input x, it's the function of that, what happens to the y. Function notation, you don't always have to say f of x. You could say g of x or h of x or d of x. When we evaluate functions, we're simply finding the missing term. So if I asked you to evaluate and I give you x, you're going to have to find the y. Or if I ask you to evaluate and I give you the y, you're going to be looking for the x. Now, this part right here is the most important part of this lesson. If you are given f of 4, you have been given the x value. So this means x is 4. If you're given f of x equals 4, if it's written like that, you are given the y value. That is the most important thing you're going to need to remember, because if you can remember that, everything else is the same stuff you've been doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and look. I'm not going to do all of these for time, but we look, here's an equation. I could even rewrite it like this. And then they give me, my handwriting. They give me this. And so you have to say, did they give me X or did they give me Y? Well, if you look above at what we starred off, you can see that they gave us X. So that is what you have to get straight in your head. If you look at number 2 and you see how they've written it, you can see that this is Y that they gave you. So in number 1, they gave me X, so we need to find the Y. In number 2, they gave me the Y, so we need to find the X. So let's just go ahead and do this. We're going to substitute, which you've been doing since 5th or 6th grade. So Y equals -4 times a -2 plus 7. Y equals a +8 plus 7. Y equals 15. So if I wrote this as an ordered pair, which the directions do not tell us to do, but we're going to do it anyway, this would be my ordered pair, and this would be my Y value. Okay, let's do it the other way. All right, on this one, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this equation, this function, and I'm going to replace s of x with the letter y because that's more familiar to you. And then I have y. So I will substitute it in. And then I solve my equation, which all of you are champions at right now. All those darn negatives. X equals a +5. So there's my x value or my domain. And then the ordered pair would be 5, negative 13, which, by the way, when you write an ordered pair, you must always put a comma and parentheses around it. Otherwise, it's not an ordered pair. It's just a list of numbers. All right, we're going to skip that 3 and 4. And we're going to look at what it looks like on a table. So easy, but you can't mix it up. So f of 2. Is that, are they giving me x or y? It is the x. X equals 2. So I look at my chart and I go, oh, look, there's x is 2. What's y? Oh, it's negative 7. Let's look at number 3. I'm going to skip number 2 for just a moment. Let's look at 3. And here, oh my gosh, this time it's y they're giving me. They're giving me y. So I look over here. Oh, look, x, y. There's where y is negative 10. So x is 3. Okay, I'm going to give you a moment while I'm erasing. I want you to go ahead and figure out the next two. Whoops. Okay, pause if you need to pause. I hope you figured the two out. Here we go. This is x. So I'm come over here. X is 0. So there's my y. This is y. Come over here. Y is negative 4. So this is my x. So easy. Let's go to the next one. Now, sometimes you're going to be given several domains, and as a result, you have to find several ranges or vice versa. So if you look down here, you can see the brackets. You're starting to see more brackets now. Brackets we use when we have a set of numbers. That's why we do brackets and not parentheses. And so just to speed this up, I'm only going to do 2 of the 3 examples, but if this was an assignment or a test, you'd have to do it 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times on a test. So let's just pretend there's only 2 numbers in this one. All right, here's what you have to get straight in your brain. The domain, is that x or is that y? It's x. And I would want you to write that every single time, especially those whose brains work like mine and we work too fast and we flip things over. If you look at number 2, it says given the range, which means they're giving us the y. So again, write it down, get it right in your head. And I'm going to go ahead and cross out number 3 because I don't want to do it 3 times. It makes the video too long. So they give me this, instead of saying f of x, they said h of x. It means the same thing. So I'm going to rewrite this in a form that I'm more familiar with, and more comfortable with. And they gave me the x, which means I'm going to have to find the y. So I'm going to substitute the negative 6 in for x. Y equals negative 3 plus 5. Y equals 2. Then I'm going to do it again. This time, x is a negative 2. So again, I work this through. I get a negative 1 plus 5. Y equals 4. So if the domain is negative 6, negative 2, then the range is 2, 4. And I wrote them in order least to greatest. So look at the next one. I'm going to rewrite d of x. I'm going to go ahead and call it y, x over 3 minus 1. And this time they gave me y. So they gave me the range. So I'm going to substitute it in at the y. So negative 12 equals x over 3 minus 1. Now, again, you could have cleared the fraction first. It's whatever. We'll all end up with the same answer. Again, I like to show it like that. If you want to show it a different way, that's totally okay. Okay, y, oh, I don't want to write y again. Let's just go ahead and call it 0. 0 equals x over 3 minus 1. So I'm going to add the 1. 1 equals x over 3. Clear the fraction. X equals 3. So here I have my brackets again, and this time it is negative 33 and 3 as my brackets. Okay, Let's look at the next one. We can go ahead and call this the range and this the domain. Okay, last one, last section. All right, again, now we're looking at a graph. So we looked at equations, we looked at tables, we're looking at graphs now. So again, a lot of y'all were struggling with coordinate planes when we did yesterday's lesson. So if you're not great at that, you definitely want to invest some time in understanding ordered pairs, plotting them, naming them, etc., because we'll be doing a lot of that. So this right here would be my x value. That's what it's saying. So I come over here and this is my x-axis, and I find where x is -2. Here's where x is -2. So if I go up here, what is my y? My y is a +3. So this ordered pair would have been that ordered pair is -2, 3. Pause it, do the next one. All right, back again. X equals 0. So I come over here. Here's where x is 0. I come up where this graphed equation is right here, and we can see that y is 3. Ordered pair 0, 3. Pause it. Do the next one. Back again. X equals 1. So I come here where x equals 1 and y is 0. So this would be 1, 0. All right, I'm going to erase. And now we're going to do the y's. So if I look at number 4, it's saying that y equals 6. So this is my y-axis. So I go up here where y is 6. And I come over here and I have a 2. And I come over here and I have a -4. So that means that on this one, where y is 6, x equals a 2 and x equals a -4. So these ordered pairs, I can have 2, will be 2, 6, and -4, 6. Let's look at the next one. Actually, pause and do the next one. All right, back again. Y equals 0. So I find here's the y, and here's where y is 0. If I go out, there's a point, and there's a point. So on this one, x equals a 1 and a -3. So again, I end up with these two ordered pairs, 1, 0, and -3, 0. Pause, do the last one. Back again, here we are. Y equals -3. So again, I come on over here and I find my y line. Again, this is my y line. Here's where y is 3. And so I'm going to come on out here, and it's kind of in the middle. So we'll just call it 1.5 or 1.5. Then I come over here, and it looks like it's at -2. And so my ordered pairs would be 1.53 and -2, 3. All right, now we're going to do the lesson. I know you can do it. Just keep your x's and your y's, your domain and ranges straight in your head. Good luck.